Hey guys, what's going on? This is Pants Art Dragon, and today I want to be doing a video on champions that have high base damage and high mana regen, because I actually got really intrigued one day when people told me Kindred's base damage was really low, and so that was the reason why you shouldn't build Trinity Force on her. And then I got kind of interested on who else shouldn't be building Trinity Force, and just did a little research on champions' base attack damage. And then just started to ponder who's good with like Sheen items and Steric's Gauge, etc. And now with the removal of Doran's Ring giving a flat amount of mana regen and now just giving 50% mana regen, I kind of got interested on who makes really good use of the Doran Rings and Morello's Nomicon and Chalice and all that mana regen stuff. So I just want to show a little bit of what I found out in this video and just point out some of the interesting stuff. Also, this video is sponsored by LOL Sumo. It's actually a pretty interesting app, and you can get it on the iOS or Android for free. Ooh. And basically what you do is search up your summoner on this app, and it'll get the data of your in-game match, giving you the best performing builds. In this case, it would be a Lowy, giving you tips on your matchup. And the best part about this app, at least in my opinion because I found it funny, is the unique tips it gives from the enemy team and your team. And as you can see here, it told me my team is shit. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting app to me, and especially helpful if you are a beginner. There will be a link in the description below to download. Now, with all that being said, let's get started. Alrighty, so first up we're going to be doing the mana regen. And what I did was I looked at all the champions' mana regen at level 18, and that's how this is all going to be based off the final level, because it makes doing this kind of simpler. And right here we see the bottom bitches of mana regen, with Darius taking the lead at 12.5, while at the top we have Jinx and Sivir. Technically, these two champions are the best with Morello's Nomicon, of course they're AD. Now I want to find the median, so I can find out what champions are above average with mana regen and what champions are below average with mana regen. So the way to do this was to find out the total amount of champions in the game, which is 128, and then find out how much champions are mana-less, and then divide by 2 and basically count my way down until I reach the 53rd champion in this list, which is going to be Gangplank. So everyone below him sucks with mana regen, technically, but as we can see here, we have champions like Sona, Janna, Soraka, and Nami, which do have high base mana regen at level 1, and are still a fairly high number, like it's above 16 for sure, which personally I'd say is a cutoff for champions who want to build mana regen. Next up, I just want to be doing some concluding remarks that I found out while doing this research. Ooh. So some of the best AP mana regen item users you might see regularly would be the champions you see right here. These are basically all the mages you see in the game right now, and so it's safe to say every mage is great with mana regen. These champions right here also have high mana regen, but they do prefer Rod of Ages and Tyr just because they do have high mana costs, but they all require a large mana pool to shoot out all their spells. And then next up, I found out the shitty AP mana regen item users. As you can see here, it's kind of surprising to see Lissandra, Bard, and Cho'Gath here, since some of them will build Morello's or Chalice. Like I said earlier, 6ing would be my cutoff, and Echo is basically just touching the tips, so I just want to kind of point that out. And so this right here could be the most helpful information you could have when building on these champions. So maybe on Lissandra, you want to get that Rod of Age instead of Morello's. And this number for Bard is definitely worth noting. It's pretty low compared to the next support, which is Nami at 18.3. And now I finally realize why it sucks to build Chalice or Morello's Nomicon on AP Cho'Gath. And this number for Echo is definitely worth noting, though I do feel like he has low mana costs. And he's not really a poke champion, he's more all-in, so he should have enough mana to do what he wants to do. So hopefully this gave you some insight when building mana regen items on certain champions. And maybe there's more efficient builds than building Morello's Nomicon on Lissandra. Again, you probably want to build what the pros are building, but I do feel like it's still worth noting that this is somewhat interesting. Alright, so in the next segment, we're going to be doing the base damage of champions. We'll be kind of figuring out what champions are really good with Trinity Force, Sheen, and Iceborne Gauntlet, along with Steric's Gauge. Though Steric's Gauge is only good with champions who have AD ratios and not bonus AD. Now right here is the highest base AD users, and as you can see they're basically all Juggernauts, and I guess I can include Cho'Gath, but technically he doesn't scale with AD, so I don't really consider him a Juggernaut. And then right here we have the lowest base AD champions with a whooping misfortune at 63. And coming in second place is Kindred. And as you can see, there's a bunch of AD carries down here too, where most of the champions you see here actually do use Trinity Force. And this will be the reason why Misfortune, Kindred, and Vayne don't get Trinity Force, because their base AD is so low. So it's highly not recommended that you get Trinity Force or Sheen on any of these champions. Now it is worth noting that Vayne was once a Triforce user in Season 5. But if we scroll down to the patch notes, we can see some AD changes going on. And there's basically a 20 base damage difference with Season 5 in the preseason. She actually used to be one of the strongest base AD range carries, right beside Draven, who is at 105, but now has one of the lowest base ADs in the game. It's also worth noting that Trinity Force was an OP item in Season 5, and basically if you had synergy with it, then you should use it. Now let's figure out what the median is of the champions. So, 128 divided by 2 equals our median, and 64 champions down, and we get Braum and Yasuo. So everything under it is below average, while everything above it is above average. Ranged AD carries get an exception because they're ranged. But for the simplicity of this video, below average and above average. Now for some points that I took out of this research. So, first up, some of the best Sheen users you see regularly. Mordekaiser, Alawi, Kassadin, Poppy, Jax Malphite, Nasus, and Relia and Hecarim. Although Mordekaiser doesn't use it, he prefers like AP magic penetration, and same goes kind of with Kassadin unless he gets a Lich Bane. And of course there's going to be a huge difference with the Juggernauts and regular champions AD. And next up is going to be the top 3 lowest base AD melee champions in the game. Diana is your number 1, Pantheon is your number 2, and Gangplank, surprisingly, is your number 3. As we all know, Trinity Force was such a great item on him in Season 5, but it is a great item on him still. And the top 3, well, top 4 base damage AD carries will be right here, as Draven is number 1, Corki is number 2, and Lucian and Kog'Maw are number 3. Wait, Kog'Maw doesn't get it anymore. He likes more attack speed, so scratch that out. And actually Ezreal is under them by like 280. So yeah, Draven exceptionally well with Sheen and Trinity Force, but of course he does love AD. But the Triforce Draven build is pretty fun, you gotta try it out for yourself. And then now we have the Sterix Gage's best users. And everyone here is basically a Juggernaut. It is worth noting that Mega Gnar actually gains base AD, not bonus AD. So Gnar is really good with it too. Of course, he does like Black Cleaver more, I think. And fun fact, Morgana is the highest base AD range champion in the game, with 115, surpassing Yasuo and Braum. But don't build it on her, of course. And that is the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was, I'd say, very different from my other videos because I don't really go into very in-depth analysis. You know, I'm more the person who says, do this, do that, do jujitsu, it's all good. But yeah, I thought it was very interesting to share because, you know, knowing the lowest base AD champions like Misfortune and Kindred definitely told me that I should not build Trinity Force or Sheen on these champions anymore. And it also told me that Lissandra is one of the weakest mana regen champions, so Rod of Ages looks like the better potential item, along with giving me a reason to why Cho'Gath sucked with Morello's Nomicon or Chalice. But yeah, hopefully this video was interesting to you guys, and thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys liked it, make sure to leave a like. If you guys disliked it, well, press the dislike button and tell me why in the comments below. Anyways, I am Panzer Dragon, and I'll see you guys next time. Hey, you guys thought I was drawing a penis, but it's actually a girl. Ooh.